of hands. Who likes losing money? No one? Great, I picked the right speech. A lot of people in this class, according to my survey, don't actually know a whole lot about cars. You can pump your gas, but that's about it. Don't worry, you're in the same boat as most Americans. The problem with this is, it means you're vulnerable to car repair scams. According to an article by the Huffington Post entitled Steer Clear of Auto Repair Scams, accessed October 2nd, the largest number of consumer fraud reports involves the car repair shop, specifically selling bad parts or selling parts you don't need. This costs a lot of money in the long run. Now, I will say this. Most mechanics are good, honest people who will not cheat you, but there are quite a few who only care about your money. Now, in this speech, I'm going to go over 3 ways to protect yourself from these car scams. One is to know when you're being cheated. And the second is to spot these shops at a glance without even having to enter them. And the third is how to find a good mechanic who won't ever cheat you. Now, on the first point, how to determine if you're being cheated? Well, you have a dirty blank. Here's a perfect example. They'll bring out a dirty air filter and show you a clean one. The dirty one is one they keep in the shop, and the clean one's from your car. They'll try to tell you it's the other way around. If this comes up, 99% of the time, it is a scam. A good mechanic will tell you, you ought to replace your air filter. You can go to here and get it for cheap. It is very simple to reinstall. You pull the old one out, you put the new one in. A dishonest mechanic will try to tell you this is wrong and try to lead you into other stuff. Another tip-off that it's a scam is they'll say, I replaced this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and if you don't get it all done, it's going to fall apart and blah, 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 blah. If they try to do that, it means there's actually nothing wrong with your car, they just want more money. Most mechanics will come to you and say, hey, I was inspecting your car and I found this is wrong. Would you like me to replace it? That's ethical. It's what they're required by law to do. And you can say no. You can get a second opinion. If they try to tell you it's the end of the world, that's a tip-off that it's a bad mechanic. One story I found about this off of an article entitled Auto Repair Scams at InsuranceFraud.com, or sorry, .org, accessed October 5th, was a man, motorist, saw his car was leaking oil, took it into the repair shop, and they said he needed a new vacuum pump for $1,820. He went across the street to a place that sold car parts and fixed it by buying a $30 seal cap. They will try to take an arm and a leg from you if you give them the opportunity. If you know what is right and what is wrong, they aren't going to have that chance. Typically, they'll try to sell you a lot of junk, as they did in this guy's case. They'll bring out a bunch of parts, say, you need all of this put in. Looking at it, it looks a lot like the junk drawer I have in my garage. And that's about all it is, and that's really what they try to sell you. That'll get you out of there with your wallet intact, but it's better if you never go in there in the first place. There are several key signs to spotting whether or not a place is trying to run a scam. I forgot about that slide. One of the main scams they use is oil. They'll try to get you to replace your oil every 3,000, 2,000, 1,000 every time you come to the shop. This tells you that when your car needs an oil change. It's very good, and as it mentions, it saves you money. This is, as you can see, checkyournumber.org. It's a site I found. I input a lot of information into here. I looked around their site a little bit too. I accessed this site October 5th. Where it says fact, it actually is fact. The best way to determine when your car needs an oil change is to look at the manufacturer's recommendation. This is the second best way, especially if you have older cars. Now, as for spotting the shops at a glance, that's a big tip-off. Free oil change, free this, free this. One local scam I'm aware of, and I'm not going to name names, mostly because I see it in too many places, is, ladies, free oil change on this day. It's dishonest, it's discriminating, and it drives away a lot of customers, but people fall for it. If it says free oil change, that means they're trying to get you in there to sell you a bunch of crap. A lot of them, and this is why even if you know better, you should not go to these places, they'll look under your hood, take out their knife, and slash a few wires. That's how they get your money. Can't leave the shop without them putting stuff back in, and it's just horrible that they do that, but they do that. Now the next way, and this is actually the quickest and best way to determine whether or not a place is reputable or not, is look at their parking lot. A shop that repeatedly scams people or damages their car to get more money, they aren't going to have any repeat customers, and their parking lot will be empty almost all the time. Whereas someone that does a good job, goes the extra mile for the sake of their customers and not their own wallets, their parking lot is packed every day of the week. Now you might think, oh, it's going to take me forever to get my car done, but you're going to get your car done right the first time and for the right price. Unlike this guy who's going to take everything out of your car and sell you a new engine. Now, the third step to not getting scammed is finding the good guys. There are two good ways to do this. The first is Angie's List. Reputable, common people speaking about reputable or irreputable shops. Good review on Angie's List usually means it's a good shop. The next best way to determine whether a shop is good or not is simply ask around. If you know anyone who knows cars, they can tell you where they go, where they would recommend. It's people you trust and you know.
Go to your conclusion.
So, armed with all this knowledge, knowing how to determine if you're being scammed, how to spot a scam shop at a glance, and how to find the good guys, next time you take your car in for a regular maintenance, you can be sure you won't be taken for a ride.